Hello, I'm Al, video director, producer, and editor here at Save Filmworks. Here at Save Filmworks, we are compassionate about the field of video production. We would love an opportunity to serve you and your video production needs. We believe that video production should be an affordable option for everyone who has either a business or a personal need. We have packages that are available, one in which we are confident will meet both the vision of your project and your budget. So please click on our service tab above to find out the areas in which we may serve you. And thanks again for visiting Save Filmworks. Hello everybody, welcome back to The Skin, and we join now with our special guest, Mr. Rob Nelson, our financial planner, financial investor. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
All right.
Yeah, was happy to have you, man. I hear you're into some great things, man.
Man, just out there trying to get it in, build my business.
Oh, okay. Well, I tell you what. Speaking about your business, tell us what you do and how long you've been doing it.
Well, what I do is I do financial planning, and what I do is just basically help people get their financial house in order. Show them how to properly invest their money for a comfortable retirement, things like that.
Okay.
Do you dabble in like different aspects of finance, or is it one particular area that you focus on?
Well, what I do is I just focus on showing families how to properly build their financial house. Financial planning is more than investing in the stock market, saving money here, or there's different aspects. Life insurance, getting out of debt. Debt is the biggest problem that people are having. So show them how to eliminate their debt and kind of show them some of the secrets that financial institutions out there don't want you to know.
Understand that. Good. So, let's see. What got you into financial planning?
Well, when I went to college, I was just like everybody else, just trying to figure out what I was going to do. I just went to college for the girls and all that other stuff. But after a minute, I had to figure out, okay, what am I going to do? And so I ended up doing a paper on John D. Rockefeller. And he had a thing in his he had a philosophy that he wanted to get rich, helping other people get rich. And I'm like, you know what, that's what I would like to do. So that started the foundation for me on what does that actually mean. And so looking at my personal life, I had a lot of debt, wasn't saving no money and things like that, so I figured I better start with myself first. So I started, learning how to build the financial house, and then I started learning how the stock market works and how insurance and things like that work, and got my stuff in order. Then I said, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and create a business, because I was always an entrepreneur. And so I said, let me figure out how I can turn this into a business, and that's what I did. Started building a business with it.
Okay, so who would you say you actually help?
I help our mainstream families, people that go out there and work every day, that's going out working 40, 50 hours a week. They get a paycheck, and before they get to do anything with their money, they got to pay their mortgage, their car payment, and when they get done paying for everything else, they're broke, and they don't understand. They have a feeling that there's no hope, and so those are the people I go out and show. Because wealthy people, they have people that help them with their money, but us that go out there and work every day, we really don't have anybody teaching us how to play the money game.
So everyday work people are the mainstream.
Yes, sir.
People. And so what are some of the challenges you face when you're trying to get the mainstream people to invest, or sit down and at least listen to trying to put their money up?
Well, some of the challenges we have is, when you're dealing with somebody who's wealthy, they have no challenges. They say, I have this much money, this is what I want you to do with it. Whereas mainstream families, they're burdened with paying a mortgage, paying a car payment, doing all this other stuff that their money is going to. And so when we sit down and telling them that they have to take a piece of their money and get in the habit of paying themselves first, take a piece of their money that they've earned and take some of that money and put it to work for them, be it getting out of debt, investing, whatever the case may be. So trying to get them to see our point of view when all the other financial stuff is in the way, that's our challenge.
Okay.
Well, what do you think prevents these families from, taking your advice and moving towards financial
Um, well, it goes back to the financial challenges. You know, my goal is to help as many families as we can to become financially independent. There's a study that says right now, if you're middle class today, there's a 95% chance you're going to end up poor.
Wow.
You know, 95% of us is going to end up poor. And it comes down to 4 reasons. One, people have way too much debt. Way too much debt. Think about this. Who gives you credit cards? The banks, right?
Yeah.
Who gives you car loans?
The bank.
Who gives you mortgages?
The banks.
So basically, the banks is out there taking our money and not really teaching us how to put our money to work for us. And so families have too much debt. That's the main problem. The second thing is families just aren't saving enough money. The average household has less than $10,000 sitting in an emergency fund. Sometimes all it takes is a flat tire to knock people's finances out of whack.
Right.
Okay, so when the finances are knocked out of whack, where do they go back to? They go back to the credit cards and everything,
Right.
and so which leads back to the banks, right?
Exactly.
And then another crisis we find is that people don't have adequate protection for their families. You got a husband and wife that work every day to bring in the income to feed their families and to keep a roof over their head, but what happens if one of them died prematurely?
That's true.
Right.
And so you got life insurance agents out there selling life insurance for the wrong reasons. You only need life insurance to protect one thing that cannot be replaced, and that's you and the income that you was bringing in. And so you need to make sure you have adequate protection for your savings. Then last but not least, saving for a retirement. You know, and the average person don't realize how much money they're going to need for retirement. The average person, if I ask anybody, do you have a 401k at work? Commonly the answer is yes. But then when we ask them, what is your financial independence number? Nobody has a clue what that is because nobody sits down and talk to you about that. And if you don't know your financial independence number, you're going to be lost. Do you know how much money the average person, just one person, is going to need to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 20 years during their retirement?
No.
No.
You're going to need $270,000 in cash just to eat. That comes out to $10 a meal.
Wow.
$10 a meal. So you got to figure you're going to need
Now that's
money.
a little high now.
Huh?
$10 a meal a little high.
What does it cost today?
You can get a breakfast between breakfast and lunch. You know, you eating at McDonald's, you're talking about $5.
Okay.
$6.
So we're talking about 20 years from now when you retire.
Okay.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that.
Point taken.
Point taken. Right? So the bottom line is most people have less than $25,000 in retirement plans that's retiring today. They don't have enough money to eat. So as you can see, based off that statistics of 95% is going to be poor, what we mean by that is a certain percentage of them is still going to be dependent on somebody else, whether it's family members, social services, or whatever, and another percent is still going to have to work. Think about this. If you walk into Walmart today, what's the first thing you're going to encounter at the door?
Oh, senior citizens.
Senior
right.
citizens.
There's a greeter. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, what about if you walk in there at 1 o'clock in the morning? What are you going to see at the door?
You'll see a security guard.
Which is typically a senior citizen.
Right. Right.
Now, you think they're there because they want to be or because they have to be?
They have to have no
I think,
choice.
yeah, I think they have to be.
Yeah, so that's the situation. So that's what we mean. Imagine if you're 60, 70, 80 years old still having to work
Right.
to take care of yourself. That's a serious situation. And so my job and what I try to do is show families how to take their working years, take a little bit of money, and put it to work so you don't have to worry about that later on.
So how can you win and how can you play and win at the money game?
How you win and play at the money game is first understand what the money game is. Remember, we talked about the debts, we talked about the credit cards, we talked about insurance companies. All of them are in business to take your money. And they have some secrets that they don't want you to know. You know, one of them is known as the banker's rule. It's called the rule of 72, where all that is a simple calculation of how to make your money double. So when the average person who saves their money in banks and things like that, they call themselves savings, what kind of interest rate does the bank give you?
Oh man, it got to be around what, 3-4%?
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky, you know,
I would say 2 to